An investigation into newly leaked files from the World Professional Association for Transgender Health confirmed yet again that what is mistakenly called gender-affirming care betrays both science and medical's best practice in medicine. Now, according to a report from Environmental Progress, internal files show that an organization whose leaders know that they are creating victims by their work. The injuries described in the files include sterilization, loss of sexual function, liver tumors, and even death. Now, despite these outcomes, the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and thousands of doctors worldwide have hidden behind the guidelines put out by this ideologically driven organization. Join me now to discuss this and more, Dr. Quentin Van Meter. He is a pediatric endocrinologist and immediate past president and now executive committee member of the American College of Pediatricians. Dr. Van Meter, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Always glad to be here. Thanks, Tony.
So give us your response to this explosive report of these leaked files that in many ways confirm what we have thought all along.
Well, it's a very large battering ram that's hit the wall that has previously just been falling down brick by brick over the past several years. WPATH has been hiding all of the information that they know and they willingly discuss among themselves. That their plans for these kids are clearly experimental, not based on science. We have said this in hearings for legislative efforts in a number of states. We've said this in courts where there's a question of parental custody of a parent who wishes not to transition their child. And we brought this up over and over again, only to be essentially shot down and being told that WPATH is the expert in this. They clearly state that their guidelines are the saving grace, that they save lives, that there are no regrets, that everything else to the contrary is a bold-faced lie and is politically motivated by right-wing conspiracy theorists. That's been their mantra since we've known them on the scene. And now we find out that they know all about these problems within, that we are correct for those of us that have been criticizing it, not because we do not care for transgender kids. We dearly and sincerely care for them and want the best for them and want things that heal them, not harm them. And the WPATH secrets that have now been leaked show that there is no scientific background, that they are living and repeating lies over and over again. It's quite shocking, but to us it's a gift because it tells the world what we have been trying to say is a very small voice. Hey, this is not good for children. We must put the brakes on like Europe has and get our organizations that have adopted guidelines, such as the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Endocrine Society and the Pediatric Endocrine Society here in the U.S., to take down their guidelines and say, we're going to rethink this. This is a bombshell and we must take care of this immediately.
It exposes the fact that many of these entities that are held out as experts have been compromised by the political agendas of these ideologically driven individuals. I mean, this is what happens when this ideology, untethered to truth and ethics, mixes with science. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. And it leads to horrible outcomes for children. I mean, these are kids that can't even, they can't drive, they can't get a tattoo, but we're letting them cut off body parts and change, make them think they're changing their gender?
Well, within the document, there are conversations that are verified by individuals, high-level individuals in the WPATH organization that say children have the right to make the decisions. The parents don't even know them. The kids, if they want this is what they should have because it saves their lives. And then out of the other side of their mouth, they'll say, well, we realize that this kiddo doesn't realize what sterilization means. And, how can they really understand that? And it is amazing to see this come out. this needs to be shouted from the hillsides and hilltops to say, stop. The whole world must stop this nonsense, this insanity. We have hurt hundreds of thousands of children irreparably since this whole process began in the mid 2000s, and we've got to put a stop to it. Not in a year or two or three, or with lawsuits that take institutions down, but we need to do it today.
So, Dr. Van Meter, let me ask you this question. Do you think that this is explosive enough, that this is going to stop the movement in its tracks? Policymakers are going to be forced to look at this. The medical associations, which have given a pass to this, are going to have to stop and rethink it.
That would be the intellectually correct thing to do. I don't know whether or not these organizations and politicians are so entrenched in their beliefs that they don't want to have egg on their face, so they're going to just stand tall and pretend like nothing was released and this is just some bogus conspiracy theory, and it's not. But it's very hard to not realize it's true when you see the actual redacted reports with their conversations recorded. It's been a stellar job by Michael Schellenberger, who did all this in justification of the research in the background, and Mia Hughes, who's kind of reported out and put this out, is just reading it is just every paragraph you go, oh my gosh, I haven't been wrong on this issue. What we believed was happening has been happening, and this has got to get out to the whole world. Was there
anything in? I mean, I know you know all this stuff, but was there anything in this that even shocked you?
I think what shocked me is the sort of the casual nature of course we knew this is the problem, but what are we going to do? These kids need what they want, and they have to get what they want, and it's just the casual flippant conversations that are documented and recorded. It's beyond the pale.
Well, what really shocked me was the number of physicians, surgeons that are doing these gender surgeries, cutting off body parts, creating these new parts, who are transgender themselves. I mean,
Yes.
This is where you see this mix of ideology that say, yes, I want more people to have to go through this. I mean, they cannot look at this objectively, in my opinion.
There is no way for them to do that. The ideology is embedded so deeply in their minds that they don't. I don't think they really care. It is for themselves that are doing this. They're not doing this for the children. I mean, that was a statement by James Cantor, is that this is all about the needs of the adults that are taking these kids to task and ruining their lives forever. And it's like, how did we let this happen?
It's sad. It is absolutely sad. What an indictment against our culture to allow this to occur. Dr. Van Meter, always great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Tony.